Hi friends, ND Vegan. Time for a nice snack. I got walnuts and I soaked them overnight. Has to be really long soaking because they take some time before all this, you see the dirty water comes out. So the walnuts are of course our healthiest nuts according to science. Nothing is, although it's very good to eat nuts on a regular basis. I just pour it out here to get the dirty water out, and I pour a little bit more to rinse it. See, that's easy, just to get the bitter stuff, the tannins out. The tannins are what the plants have we use it also to make something durable, lasting. When you make yes, it has a bitter flavor, tart flavor, puts everything together, and that's what that tastes so bitter and the tart in the walnuts. And I wouldn't say it's really unhealthy, but it's unpleasant to eat. And if you soak the walnuts overnight, you get them almost as if they were fresh from the tree. So it's a very nice flavor and crunch, and they're so healthy. And they have this famous fat, omega-3 fatty acid that's called, and we need it every day. So a walnut snack, I do that all the time. I eat the walnuts as I get them, or I soak them overnight. I can also put some Himalayan salt on top of it. I'll show you right away. This is the brown water here. That goes in the plants, you know. I don't drink that. It's really too tart. It's not nice. So what I do is to have a nice snack, I just make my walnuts like that, in case they are a little bit bitter when you purchase them, right? Then I soak them overnight, drain and rinse them like that, and I put a little bit of Himalayan salt on top. But that's just really some crystals, not much. If you take too much, that might be too much already. It's just an idea, yeah? It makes it a little bit more nice, yeah? It's just a tiny amount. The rest goes back into the glass. I use Himalayan salt, but you can take any salt you like. And then I just toss a little bit so the salt is everywhere. And that's it. That would be a snack by itself. Yeah. And there's another video where I show you how to make that. And it's very easy. One of my earliest videos. And I give you the link under this video if you want to watch. But today I want to make something else. I want to coat these beautiful, delicious, healthy snacks in date mousse. I'll show you also another video how to make date mousse. It's very simple. You just blend dates with water, and there you go. For a week it keeps. You can use it, and then it begins to turn sour. Yeah, but that's not nice. The date mousse, it's precious, right? Yeah. That's such nice to have these batches here. I make it once a week or so, every other week whenever I use it. I use it a lot. It's my favorite sweetener. It's super healthy. If you eat dates every day, you get healthier and healthier. There's science about that too. So sweetener that has more sugar than even the soda, and that is healthy. That is rare. So I was excited to hear that. So, but I use some date mousse here. Just some spoons here, tablespoons, and add some water because I can't put that, like that around the walnuts. That doesn't work, just technically. So I need a little bit of water, just a little bit. But I still want to have a lot of date mousse around the walnuts. It's such a nice combination, date mousse and walnuts. This is the main flavor combination here. The salt is not really adding a known flavor. It's more an environment, an ambience. You know? It's more an ambience, I would say. The salt is not a seasoning. Salt is just something that gives the cells of the body the ability to take nutrients in and out, to take water in and out. That is why we need salt to survive. But take too much and you get sick. It's dangerous. Salt is one of the most dangerous things today because most people die because of that. Yeah, it's the number one killer too much salt in our society. There's a long story about that. It doesn't matter. So salt is not an easy thing, but it is necessary. And the way we use it so much in food is more a cultural question, and it tunes the liquids to the right temperatures, so to say, to perfectly mask the flavors. If you have a perfect amount of salt in a food, it tastes perfect. And when you have a little bit less, something's missing. A little bit much is totally ruined. Yeah, that's because of the physical importance of salt, that it can make the cells permeate. So the water, the nutrients in and out of that, without this osmosis, and without that, we can't live. And that's why it's so important. I guess that's also why it's important in food. But there are other ways to get the food delicious, but that's another story. So I have this here. I guess this is something I could use to coat the walnuts, and I have to do it this way. I have to put this date mousse on the walnuts, not the other way around. I tried that before. I tried some other nut recipes, so seasoned nuts or savory nuts or so. That's a wonderful snack, these nuts. At first I tried the other way around. First I made my date mousse, or whatever seasoning I put in, and then I put the nuts into that. And then I always ended up with a lot of date mousse and marinade, and and it was always a waste of marinade. I could have to save it and then store it, and so this way I don't put the marinade on the nuts. I put the nuts on the marinade, but the marinade on the nuts, and that's how I get always the right amount. So that looks pretty nice to me here. It was a nice way to do it, I guess. Maybe I can use a little bit more. Yeah, the date mousse is still delicious. Just a little bit more. Other way around doesn't work. Because then you have already the whole, marinade in the nuts, and you can't get it out again. Otherwise, this way here, I put just a little bit more onto like the seasoning here. Once you have the seasoning in the food, you can get it out again. The other way around is not so. It doesn't work so much. So I put the marinade on the nuts, not the other way around. That's my message. So a little bit more here. Let's see. All right. So I want to have a healthy amount of date mousse on my walnuts without having them swim away. Is that enough now? Yeah, that looks good. So next is easy. I already prepared my Dehydrator teflex sheet. Yeah, this is a teflex sheet. It has no holes, so you put the walnuts on top. Very simple, like this. And then it goes into the dehydrator overnight, or takes some time. I tried that before. It really takes some time. You can't do it in a couple of hours or so. If you want to have it faster, you put it in the oven. But then you will have to heat your nuts over 60 degrees or whatever you have there, and then it's no longer raw. And the problem with the nuts is when you heat them, something very important gets lost. Or the nuts are so special and super healthy because if you have raw nuts, you can eat as many as you want in addition to your usual diet, and you would never gain fat. You never gain weight. That's so funny because nuts have a lot of calories, they have a lot of fat, and so when you expect that when you eat additional nuts, you gain weight, you get fat, because they have more calories. But the science was stunned when they found out, not too long ago, the opposite is the case with raw nuts, that is. That's the point I want to make. Because there must be something in the nuts. I didn't yet read the full explanation. They were trying to find out why that was. But one explanation is that the nuts have something, the raw nuts, that makes the cells in the body burn more. They burn extra energy, extra heat they produce. And that's why you lose weight, rather than you win. You will never win. But that is not in the nuts when you heat them too much. So when you get the nuts from the shop, they're usually roasted because they're more durable, because nuts turn bad pretty soon. They have fat, they turn bad, the fat gets rancid, and then the nuts are no longer nice. So what they do when they prepare them for shelf life and the stores to sell, they heat them, they roast them a little bit, oftentimes, mostly. And then that beauty of the nut gets lost. So you eat that nut with the salt maybe, and the heat, and the roasted, and then you get fat. Yeah, but there was a lot of confusion about that. That now we know, and that's why I recommend to do these nuts in the dehydrator, not over 45 or 42 degrees or whatever, and still that remains unharmed. So I put that now in my dehydrator, and I will show you after a minute for you and maybe a night for me, when I turn them around on my mesh dehydrator sheet. That's another kind of sheet where the air goes through. That's a little trick to make it faster, because of course the dehydrator takes some energy. Depends on what you have. I have a Excalibur from the United States. I have it for decades now, and it's a wonderful tool. Now there are others. You can use any kind of dehydrator you want to use. Whatever you have at hand. You know, first the first dehydrators I had were small, round, from Germany or Austria, old companies, and I read about it, and they said, we have our dehydrators for generations already, because before the fridges were invented, the food had to make last and durable by dehydrating or salting them or so, marinating them, fermenting them. That was other ways to make the food durable for the winter and so. Yeah. So they have these dehydrators to dry the fruit, and with the dry, or nuts too, yeah, and the veggies and so. Because when you want to take the water out of the nutrient out of the food, it doesn't waste anymore. Not that fast, at least. You can freeze it too, yeah, of course, the same effect. Slows down that degradation. But dehydrating is a nice one if you don't do it too hot. Now, that's a good thing with nuts, at least. So I come back in a moment for you, and for me it's a night later. So this is 7 hours later. I have here my dried walnuts with the date mousse and a tiny amount of salt. And now I will change the sheet. This is a mesh. The air goes through it, and drying is faster on these kind of sheets, but I can't use them, of course, when there is liquid still running from the walnuts. And to change it, I just turn it around, upside down, and lay it on top, like this. Then everything, one flip, and now I remove first the other layer, and now the sheet. I have to pull the sheet off the nuts here. They are still picking to the sheet, but that is usual. I always have to do that when I do these things with other crackers or so. I have to have a certain degree of dryness, a certain dryness I have to make this possible, but it is okay. It's easy to pull off. You can see that. But that saves some time, because of course when you use the the dehydrator, there's always energy going into the food in the dehydrator. Always better to save time and energy to make it faster. And now we'll go back. I'll just make them a little bit more space. The more space that each one has, the better they dry. And they need some more drying. They need to be really crunchy and dry, because when the water is out of the nuts, then they last. Put them into a glass, then I show you that when the final state is reached, and then I come back to you here. I show you what I have now. You see, this is the second phase now begins on the mesh dehydrator sheet, and we'll go into the food processor, into the dehydrator right away, and the rest of the night or so it will dry, and tomorrow or so, around noon or so, another 12 hours or so, I guess, or whatever, I will tell you. It will be crunchy. See you in a sec. So these are now the dried caramelized walnuts, you see. This is the mesh sheet, so it takes less time, and I took some extra time because I would really like them crunchy, and I tried one already. It's delicious. The wonderful sweetness of the date that is not aggressive. It is a mild sweetness, but wonderful, together with a wonderful flavor of the walnuts, the slightly bitterness. It is not really bitter, it is washed out by soaking it. And then the tiniest amount of salt, it gives it a little bit more liveliness. Not to taste salty, but to give it a little bit more warmth. Oopsie. And now I have to put it into a sealed container like this. And that will now keep. If in this container, they keep really month after month. I won't keep because I will eat them before that. I just want to show you. It remain fresh and crunchy in these containers. Put them in a maybe dark place or so. When light comes on it, they will, of course, deteriorate faster. They always deteriorate a little bit. But when they're dry and the water is away and the container is sealed, they keep for a nice time. It's a wonderful snack and super healthy. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you like my video, subscribe MD Vegan on YouTube, and enjoy the endless vegan variety. You can always have a new recipe every single day. And find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and X.